Okay, so season 8 of Rick and Morty just finished, and wow, what a run of episodes. I think I can safely say this was probably the most consistent season of the show we've had in years. But what does that mean for the future of the show, and what did I think of the season as a whole? If you've been following the channel over the years, you'd know I've been covering Rick and Morty for a while now. And no matter what I say, it seems to be that I have the contrarian opinion on just everything, and people just disagree with whatever I gotta say. Last year, I dropped a video ranking every single season and my review of season 7. Both are linked down below or in the Rick and Morty playlist. I called season 7 the worst in the show's history, with an average episode rating of 6.1, with season 5 coming in next at second last with an average of 6.9. So out of the last 3 years, I haven't been all too hot on the show, with me even considering dropping it entirely, and the future looked really grim. Last time around, they had my 2 least favorite episodes in Rise of the Numbericons and How Poopy Got His Poop Back. Like, these 2 episodes are stinkers. They're just shit. But now you're all caught up to speed with my thoughts and feelings I had before coming into the season. I do want to just start off with my thoughts on the finale itself, then move on to season 8 as a whole. By the way, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We've got tons of exciting stuff in the pipeline, and we are so close to 10k. So yeah, subscribe, and if you want to, we got a Patreon as well. If you want to support us there, please, link is down below. Rick and Morty has a reputation for banger season finales. Like, honestly, even with last season, with Fear No More being a top 5 in the show, or Rick and Mirai Jack, or just any of the finales, they're always bloody good. I went back and did an average score for all the finales, not including season 8, and combined it to an average of 8.57, which is, that's nuts. That is absurdly high. So how does season 8 go with Hot Rick? Yeah, again, this is probably one of the best in the show's history. Back-to-back 10 out of 10 finales. Far out. What a way to end the season. An episode that goes back to being plot heavy. Memory Rick returns and has caused Jerry to have positive feelings towards Rick, which sets off alarm bells because that is mad sus. Memory Rick is removed from Jerry and put into an ant farm to try and keep him contained. The A and B plot both being connected to this idea of memory of Diane, and what this means for both Rick and Beth was just outstanding. Honestly, one of my favorite archetypes for an episode of this show is when it does something like this, where the emotional hook crosses over and develops the cast so well in both portions of the show. It's so simple, but it means every second is a character being proactive in moving the story forward. The more we push the A plot, the more engaged we are with the B plot, and vice versa. The finale is just filled with terrific writing, honestly. It's here where the strengths of the show lie, to be able to use its vast cast and the previous 8 seasons of lore to actually tell a pretty emotional story with laughs throughout. I'll get to the rest of season 8 later, but I just wish there was more of this. More episodes that took risks, or as the community calls it, like canon episodes. Stuff that like legit changes the status quo. A new love interest is introduced, which leads to some funny turn of events where Rick blurts out that they've been sleeping together.
You're a genius and you looked up nothing about my culture?
I took my wife out of my head. I'm going through a lot.
Which goes against their like alien customs. So he must fight to the death, which is just, that is a classic Rick and Morty trope. That's perfect. While Beth goes on a tumultuous journey where Memory Rick plants the seeds to break Diane out. Diane being a Memory Rick just cuts out because he thinks that's the healthiest way of moving forward is just, that's brutal. This is what I mean when I talk about having such a strong emotional core in an episode of this show. While also being funny, most sitcoms don't even try to do this anymore with its leads. They don't have any runway or room to grow or fall back and regress. They just stagnate. And obviously, this is more so an illusion of change. You can't like flippantly change the character. Rick is still Rick. It's not like suddenly this is just a different person the next season, but I feel like the writers know of where the state of the character is, and so then they can build upon that, and then they can tell new stories where they can push it to the furthest point they can go, and then where can we make some jokes along the way? Which I think really respects the audience's time for sticking by the show over like the decade it's been on air. Like, oh, you watched this random episode where Morty has a kid? Cool. Here's an episode where that narratively comes back. That's just cool. Also, this episode from a direction and art perspective was fucking nuts. The colors popped, the action flowed so well, and in a season where many episodes did visually stand out, this was so great. I need to harp on the visuals for some amount of time because I'm going to be continue to gush about the story, but like, holy crap. This episode is just stunning. Back to just what happens in this episode. Space Beth just dies. And for a second, I was like, actually like, is she dead? I didn't really know what's a thing. And I think that I reckon the fact that I had that little, is a good thing. To a maybe clone of Beth that has not gotten the most amount of screen time. That's impressive. Like, I was actually shocked. And then all the stuff with main Beth is unreal. The voice acting was off the charts, and it makes me happy to just still be a fan of the show, to still see this play out over 10 weeks, once a year. It's special. It's nice. And now moving forward to my thoughts on the season as a whole. My real only major complaint for the entire season is that we only got like one really like banger episode that pushes the ongoing story forward at all. Normally we get to see at least 2 or so, and yeah, it's a tad disappointing, I guess. Like, the finale only affects really only Rick and Beth. I just hope some of the larger stuff they were playing with, like the galactic scale, could return somewhat. And I know Evil Morty went to a universe where, outside of Rick being the smartest being and everything, but what does that amount to? Is that really over? Like, what happens with Rick Prime? And there's a lot of stuff here, like, there is just not explored. Like, Rick Prime was killed off last season, and we're kind of just sitting here going, where does that leave Rick? This kind of serves as an epilogue to that story, as like this finale. But like, Morty, since getting a new voice actor, really hasn't really gotten anything other than like last season's finale. I feel like he's gotten the short end of the stick. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy. But like, the ending to this episode's really somber and kind of sad. Like, Memory Rick and Diane get to live thousands of light years away, and our Rick is just fucking alone. And that's awesome, but also, like, I want to see this explored more. I really do. Like, this is a really great position to be in. And for the season as a whole, it's just good. I would talk to my friends each Monday or Tuesday, and not a single episode did we go, geez, they missed. The lowest ratings I gave this season were 6s. Like, that's the lowest I went. And if we were to rank like, this season against the others, using the rating system I used for, like, ranking every season video, I shit you not, this season came out to a 7.6 out of 10, which is honestly a great rating, right? That's awesome. But it's also, to the decimal point, the exact same rating I gave season 4 and 6. So yeah, it's a little lower than the first 3 seasons, but that is an unreasonably high bar to have. Like, no one should be going, this should be better than season 3 or 2. This season did its job well. It course corrected after last season had to recover from losing its lead midway through production. I can't imagine the chaos and turmoil that caused behind closed doors. This season had the extra time to cook, and I really think the team did just that. Cook. So where does Rick and Morty go from here? I hope now that they've built some really solid and good foundations with the new 2 leads, that we can move comfortably into this new era of the show. While I got a lot of hate for my thoughts on last season, the overall talk about the show was that it had passed its prime and was dying off or irrelevant. But I think after like the last 12 or so episodes, including the last 2, in last season, the last 2 episodes were bangers. It's been on a roll and steaming ahead and building some great word of mouth. I just hope they can either dig deeper into Rick and grow out his character and stuff with Diane, or move in an entirely new direction and maybe shake up the status quo. Like, the introduction of Space Beth was quite a while ago now, and so like, where do things go? Like, how do they keep things new and fresh? I was going to write a section on how I haven't seen anyone talk about like the season or the finale, besides that Zack Snyder episode that was hilarious. But since the day I've been writing this, my Twitter feed has blown up about people just raving about how much they love this episode and how much it means to them. And it just gives me hope that this community isn't dead, and when it comes to engagement, that there is still people here, and that's awesome. And that the future of Rick and Morty is still bright, and I look forward to the spin-off shows with the President and season 9 next year. So those are my thoughts on the most recent season of Rick and Morty. I thought it was great, probably the 4th best season in the show's history. That's outstanding, that's awesome. But I want to know what you thought about the latest season and where you think the show should go moving forward. Make sure to check out my other Rick and Morty videos I've made over the years. We've got a full playlist so you can see from like season 5 onwards my thoughts like evolve and change. Other than that, I just have to thank my Patreon supporters. If you want to help out, there's a link below for our Patreon, and yeah, would really appreciate anyone. You can do it, like, I think there's a really low tier. Even that helps. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.